This week on the Spotlight, we reintroduce you to the youngest Bull, born in 1993, if you can believe that. Chris Sale, he's pretty young himself, born in 1989. He's the White Sox pitcher. Then we show you championship trivia from our 2012 Benkowski title match at Salerno's. And we flash back to 1993 for some Bulls and Hawks action this week on the Spotlight. Check out my website, Benkowski.com, for my weekly article and up-to-the-minute trivia sites. From wherever Chicago's sports teams are making news, this is the 23rd year of the Lansing Floral Sports Spotlight. Flowers for every imaginable occasion at Lansing Floral Shop. Call them at 708-474-1212. They deliver. You got to get to Kelly's Tavern for Benkowski trivia. Friday, March 1st, Friday, March 15th, both at 8 p.m. Come out and play. Bring your friends, 44th and Wallace. Last time out, the team formerly known as the Cunning Stunts won the game. Kelly's Tavern, 44th and Wallace. Want to get a haircut from a great hairstylist? Call mine, Rose Murillo, 312-726-2201. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. Demitas Coffee Shop is an excellent place to go at 1066 West Taylor, just off the UIC campus. Breakfast, lunches, mochas, lattes, cappuccino, tea, baked goods, superb French toast, great chicken salad. Open Tuesday through Sunday for breakfast and lunch. Great staff. Demitas Coffee Shop on Taylor.
Hi, my name is Rose, and I've been a skilled hairstylist for over 10 years. I specialize in men's haircuts and in corrective color. Come visit me at Salon 203 at 203 North LaSalle, 312-726-2201. And while you're at it, come in and get a shoe shine and a shave. It's a great place where a man can be a man. Sam & Sons Jewelers offer custom-made jewelry at 10640 South Cicero. You can buy, sell, trade, repair, and restyle. They have certified loose diamonds and gemstones. Sam & Sons Jewelers, easy to reach at 10640 South Cicero. You should get to Ignat's Ristorante. It's at 24th and Oakley. They feature things like chicken Vesuvio and cacciatore, steak Isabella, veal parmesan. They're highly rated by Chicago's Best, Time Out Chicago, 190 North, Chicago Magazine. Ignat's, 2421 South Oakley. Eat there. We're back on the Spotlight. It's time to talk Bulls. Marcus Teague, who is just coming up on that 20th birthday, and so often rookies are kept way down on the bench. But Marcus has gotten his minutes in. He's battled to play good D and be in Tibbs' good graces. He's seen some action here and there. And with a little help from Jimmy Butler at the end, we talked to Marcus about how the season's gone. Playing quality opponents, scoring off against players that he admired as a child, and I guess it happens a little more than I realized that it did. And here's Marcus to tell his quiet but on the mark view of that. We're talking Bulls basketball and just trying to get a handle on where the club is at this season. You know, you're kind of having a good battle with Indiana in your division, and I think some people might even be surprised that your team is winning at the pace that it is, you know, with all the injuries you've had.
Nah, we got a lot of great players on this team. You know, we all confident in each other, so we just go out and perform together. Just do whatever it takes to win.
What about when you see action and, you know, you've seen some, I don't know, some pretty good fourth quarter minutes from time to time. Tell us a little bit about getting into the thick of it and, you know, despite your young age.
Oh, no, I just go out there and play my game. You know, go out there and do what Coach Tibbs asked me to do, make sure I'm defending, you know, get the ball to the guys, you know, where it need to be. And if I get open shots, just knock them in and try to finish at the rim. You know, I just be trying to run the team.
You know, I see some some of the elements of your game remind me a little bit of Rondo. Is that a guy that you ever observed or appreciated and could have modeled any of your game after?
Yeah, I watch Rondo a lot. He makes plays. He's a basketball player, whether scoring or finding a play for somebody else or rebounding or, getting steals on defense. He just, he go out there and he just always trying to make a play. I like to play like that, just, always be active.
Who were some of the people that on your team that call you aside and maybe offer a tip or two and give you valuable stuff where you don't always have to learn it on the court, but you can listen to them?
Oh, all my teammates, they always, trying to help me out, just telling me little things they see that I can do, just to help me grow as a player. All of them. Everybody's been real helpful with me this year.
Was there a game that you played in where you saw maybe a couple extra more minutes, or it was a critical point in the game where you completely enjoyed your play and you felt that you played a key role in the team's result?
I feel like every time I step on the floor, I just try to give it my all. Do whatever I can to help my team. Whether it's on the defense end, offense end, whatever whatever it takes. I'm just always trying to help whenever I get on the floor. I don't really know one specific game.
I guess I'm looking to rate the overall quality of the opponent. Like, for example, you got the Spurs tonight, a team with a deep history, who's been a contender and maybe one of the top two teams since the Jordan era. Going up against some of those legendary guys is an interesting battle for yourself.
Oh yeah, playing against guys like Tony Parker and Tim Duncan and things like that. Guys I grew up watching. It's always going to be fun, and it's going to be real competitive tonight. So we're going to be ready. We know they'll be ready.
Now, previously, playing against other players of that stature, can you cite an example when you played against anybody that you truly admired as a kid?
Oh yeah, played against Darren Williams. I watched him a lot. I played against Rondo. I watched them guys a lot. Pretty much every night you playing against somebody you grew up watching. It's just crazy. To get the chance to actually be on the court playing against these guys. It's a lot of fun.
What about Jimmy here? I think he's a guy who just went through what you did and maybe would be one of the best sources of information for things to look for.
Oh yeah, Jimmy he always tell me to stay. He always tell me to just be ready. My time will come, and when it comes, just be ready, go out there and perform, and just play confident.
All right, we'll be looking for that. And I couldn't not ask you a trivia question about country music, so I got to swing this around and say, if you were watching the Grammys. Okay, well I do have a Grammy question. You can guess. She won the best country single award, best country single song. Who was this lady?
Carrie Underwood.
That is correct. She also had a multi-million-dollar necklace on.
She got it.
And we salute the memory of Dr. Jerry Buss, the 80-year-old owner of the Lakers, who had 10 NBA titles in his 30-plus years on the job, a brilliant Ph.D. in chemistry, real estate millionaire, owner of the L.A. Strings in tennis, L.A. Kings in hockey, and an innovator in his sport, bringing in the Lakers dancers, waitresses at the premium seats, superstar Hollywood fans, Senate seats in which he brought in premium pay and included entertainment in the off-season. A great innovator will be lost and missed. Dr. Jerry Buss. You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. You've got to get to Kelly's Tavern. You'll have a good time. I'm cracking up thinking about it. Benkowski Trivia, 44th and Wallace. And the next ones are Friday, March 1st and March 15th at 8 p.m. Looking forward to seeing you at Kelly's, 44th and Wallace. Good times ahead. McKell's Inn, where good friends meet for a cool one. 3259 West 111th Street, just west of Kedzie. Tuesdays and Thursdays, they have $1.50 domestic bottles, $4 Guinness every day. Great people, great staff. And the next trivia game is coming up Monday, February 25th at 7 o'clock. So be there. I bet Carrie's going to cook something up for us. You'll get a plateful if you play trivia. Bring your car to Quick Stop Muffler and Brake at 95th and Pulaski, and they'll fix it right. They also do shocks and struts, free estimates. Call them at 708-423-3700. They're very thorough in their work, and they have very competitive pricing. Quick Stop Muffler and Brake, 95th and Pulaski. You would be smart to get to Amelia's Bar and Grill. They're open for lunch and dinner daily with private parties and catering. A unique mixture of fine dining and Mexican specialties created by Chef Eusebio Garcia. Easy to reach at 46th and Halsted. Amelia's Bar and Grill, a great place to go. You'll be glad you did. We're back on the spotlight with part 2 of Chris Sale, the White Sox tall drink-of-water pitcher. And he was asked about Tyler Flowers being the key catcher this year with A.J. Pierzynski gone.
And that goes for everybody in here, the whole pitching staff. So we're going to be working together and bouncing ideas off each other, and we'll just see how it shakes out. That's such an external thought, and such it's last year with the whole race and everything, it was an honor to be kind of spoken with some of the guys that were in the race, and but the fun part is our team is such an even-keeled team. Everyone is so just kind of down to earth and even-keeled that you really don't notice what's going on when it's going on, and you just try not to pay attention to that, because you start thinking, well I got to go out here and I got to do this and I got to do that, and you start pressing, and I think everyone knows what happens when you start pressing in baseball and in sports in general. So you just kind of go out. For me, I just go out there and whoever I got. If it's Cleveland, I got to start against Cleveland today, and that's the only thing on my mind. And then right when I throw my last pitch, when that game's over, I got the next team on board. So I try not to put too much thought into any accolades or awards or whatever it might be, because what's most important to me is the team and the Chicago White Sox, not Cy Young or All-Star or whatever else might be out there.
Chris, from a physical standpoint, with a year under your belt starting in the majors, what did you do differently in the off season to help your durability and to go a couple hundred innings?
Well, one thing I did, I got a trainer down in my hometown, Naples, Rick Lademan. He actually worked in Chicago with the Bulls for a year or so, and work out at this place, his studio, Beyond Motion, down there in Naples. He's been great. Been working out 5 days a week, really focusing on just core strength, like building a base, kind of starting from the ground up. And I've been doing Pilates with his wife, Amy, every Thursday. So kind of a different, kind of a mix of strength and stretching and really just taking care of yourself, eating better. His wife is a dietitian, so my wife and I talk with her about eating better and just putting things in your body that kind of fuel you instead of slow you down. So there's kind of been a lot of mix of things.
How does that play into your next step in your development?
I think it's kind of everything. I mean, you try to be you want to be at your best peak weight, body type, everything, just kind of feeling good and being good at kind of a mix of both. So every year's a new chapter and new kind of going on forward. So you just try to do the same things you did with a little bit of new stuff that you like, and see how it shakes out.
What kind of new stuff do you have in your pitching repertoire? Playing around with any one more pitch?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Well, you could say that you're doing one. You don't have to tell me what it is.
I'm just messing with you. No, I haven't worked on any new pitches. The main thing I've been working on this offseason is throwing long toss and getting arm strength. Last season I felt like I kind of fizzled out late, and those are the most important innings. It doesn't matter how good you are in May, April, June, July, August and September are when it's really crunch time, and that's when I want to be at my best. So I just want to build enough strength to where, I can be at my best at the end of the season and not, kind of be that guy that I was at the beginning of the season and, help my team through.
And now, would you attribute that to the late home run?
With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. You've got to get to A Touch of Ireland. Imported clothing, giftware, and all your St. Patrick's needs. Waterford Crystal, Balik, Irish dancing shoes and socks. Baby needs, christening, communion, confirmation, Clauda rings. Easy to reach at 6761 West 95th Street at Oak Park Avenue. A Touch of Ireland. Little Frank's Pizzeria and Bar. Thursday, $1.50 Miller Old Style. And my next trivia show, February 28th at 8 p.m. You know they have $12 large pizza and pitcher all day, every day? Easy to reach at 79th and Narragansett. Check out Little Frank's. You'll be glad you did. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie does tune-ups, transmission, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes, and emission system repair. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they've done a great job for me. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie. At the Office Sports Bar and Grill, conveniently located at 4901 Calsag Road in Crestwood, near 132nd and Cicero. They have 15 appetizers, flatbreads, burgers, wraps, paninis, 20 sandwiches, soups, salads, and a whole lot more. Great staff. At the Office, near 132nd and Cicero. This week we will reveal the champion of the 2012 Benkowski Trivia title match. It comes down to the very end. And Patrick Benkowski, take it away.
This is it. And what an interesting matchup it is of teams that bang heads week after week after week, doing it again. Playing Big Train Walter Johnson and needing 2 to win. Let's hear it for the Chicago Sharks.
Oh, there goes one.
Question number 1. Within 5, Walter Johnson's birth year or death year?
1886, birth.
Louder?
1886.
They said 1886. 1887, you get it. Died in 1946. You have 500, you need one of the next 2. In Walter Johnson's greatest major league season as a hitter, in 97 at-bats, one season, within 30, what was his batting average?
Go with 4.
5 seconds.
350.
They said 350, 433. 42 hits and 97 at-bats. It is amazing. So you have 1 up, 1 down. As so often happens, and has happened again, the last question of the night decides the championship. And this for the 2012 season. All right, if this doesn't go, Auntie Jonies are ready. Shy Sharks, 2 teams ready to celebrate. Here we go. Within 20. Oh, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. I'm sorry. I keep skipping the chili dogs. They're at 2760. No, it's some numerical issues today, but the answers are right. Walter Big Train Johnson, within 20 victories, his major league final win total.
417.
They said 417. That is exact, and you win the championship. So the Shy Sharks take it with 31-2 2-2, and everybody played sensationally at the end of the game. But the Shy Sharks, maybe the 1886 answer was the key. Knowing baseball from that far back turned out to be the turning point. But tremendous play for all the teams. Compliments to the Shy Sharks, to the Chili Dogs, to Morningwood, to Auntie Jody, Team Cobblestone, J&B, and Jack's All-Stars. A tremendous championship match. Watch yourselves on cable TV and the internet. A tremendous match. And now the awarding of a trophy that might be a little more meaningful to the Shy Sharks than some other teams by virtue of its name. A guy who they played against many, many times. It's the Jeff Cherisi Trophy. And congratulations, you are the champions for 2012. All right, I'll see you all. Have a happy new year. I'll see you all at your locations in the first 2 weeks of January. I'll brag you all for your fantastic play to all your opponents. And it was a beautifully played game. Grab a couple of desserts on the way out. Put a piece of pizza in your pocket, but don't ask them for a doggy bag.
I eat antipasta twice just...
Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria at Grand and Racine is the place to go before United Center Pavilion, Bulls, Hawks, Cubs, and Sox too. Dine in or carry out with great family recipes, including homemade pastas, steaks, seafood, a great fun bar area. Meet people, have a tremendous time. At Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria, Grand and Racine, you'll find a great variety of foods for you to enjoy at Salerno's.
Elbow's Sandwich Shop is new. They got good stuff. Open 11 a.m. Monday through Saturday. Italian beef, sausage, meatball, steak sandwiches, parmesan, soups, Italian subs, salads. At 6316 Archer, right around Mobile. Elbow's Sandwich Shop. Really good stuff. Swanson's Deli, Beverly Ritz Catering. Homemade soups and salads, fresh sandwiches, eat in or take out. Daily specials for lunch or dinner, and home of the famous cheese ball at 2414 West 103rd Street at Western. You've got to get there, and their catering serves any size. Swanson's Deli, Beverly Ritz Catering, 2414 West 103rd Street at Western in Chicago. Reggie's is a great place with tons of music, interesting people and staff, great food and drink at 21st and State. And amongst the cool things they have, Benkowski Trivia. The next one will be Monday, March 4th at 7 p.m. We'll be looking for you at Reggie's, 21st and State.
So let's tell you a little bit about what's going on in this week's show. First, we're going to start with the Bulls. The story of the return of the Orlando Magic. And even though Shaquille kind of had his own way the last time Orlando came to town, that was slightly altered this time around. The Magic hung close in the first half with great plays by the dominant Shaq and by his buddy Laterrio Green with a tremendous drive here. But Michael Jordan countered with some great help from Scottie Pippen and even John Paxson beginning to contribute. And it was still relatively close at the half. But then the Bulls put on the afterburners in the third quarter. Tremendous plays. Look at Horace Grant with this block leading to the three by BJ. Scotty with some cleanup, and Scott Williams too. And the Bulls go on to win handily. First we talk to Michael Jordan.
Patrick didn't come in with the flair that he's come in the league with, and certainly he does not get that. He did not get the treatment that Shaquille is getting, and it's just when you talk about remarkable athletes. They said it many years about me, and now they're saying it about him. So, I can certainly understand the complaint, seeing both sides of it now.
Too much respect for a rookie from the refs?
Well, I mean,
you got to earn it, don't you?
I mean, you got to earn it, but certainly sometimes these athletes are getting better and better that you can't assume. And you got to be actually sure in terms of what you see, and evidently some of these eyes are getting a little bit slow reflexes.
Michael, Is everyone getting testy right now? The referees, the players, you see the fight that happened the other day. Are players getting testy right now because you can't wait for the playoffs to begin?
Well, I think everybody's jockeying for position, jockeying for types of play that's going to be expected and certainly look for in the playoffs, referees, teams, whatever. And, you got a little bit more rust, a little bit more friction there, and you got to stay on top of it. Referees got to stay on top of it, and certainly teams got to stand up for what they believe in and the type of basketball they want to play.
Michael, you came out looking to pass, it looked, as a first option early in the game. Why was that?
It was just just the mood that I was in, I guess. I really felt that the other guys really got off well offensively, and I could sense from the beginning that I was a focal point, and I didn't want to press the issue. I just wanted to see how well we can respond, knowing that they were going to focus on me. And the team responded well, and it really didn't call for me to do anything out of the ordinary. And I basically laid back and let the guys do the work, and I contributed in other areas.
Yeah, I didn't think I said anything to get a technical. I walked by him and I said it, plain as day. I said, hey Ronnie, what did I do? Lay a finger on him? I just thought he got the ball and tripped, and they called the foul. I didn't understand the foul, or it was never justified, and he never answered my question. He just gave me a technical.
We're back in the spotlight, and now it's time to talk Blackhawks. Going back to last Thursday, the Blackhawks squared off against the Buffalo Sabres, a team with tremendous firepower. Turned out the story in the first period was their goaltender, Grant Fuhr, with repeated stop after a tremendous save. And another great one, too. Fine work by Grant Fuhr in the nets to keep the Sabres competitive through the first period, and then it was time for offense. This one made it 3-1. Buffalo in control. Then the incomparable Alexander Mogilny, 4-1 Buffalo. But that wasn't all. Dale Hawerchuk, 5-1. Then the Hawks were back in the comeback trail. Brent Sutter, and the Hawks were down 3. Stefan Matteau in the right place at the right time. And the lead was cut to 2. Then late in the period, Jeremy Roenick brings the Hawks to within 5-4, but it was too little too late. Buffalo wins it, and we talked to the NHL's leading scorer.
It'd be a great honor. It's unfortunate circumstances with his illness. What I'm happy about is that he's healthy and he's back. In Montreal at the All-Star game, he did tell me that he said, Pat, he says, I asked him how he's doing. He said he's feeling well. I said, that's great. He says, well, I'll give you a little bit of a lead, then I'll come take you on. And he's definitely a man of his word, and I'm just happy he's healthy. And, it'd be a great honor. There's, I think any player in this game would say that, but there's still, we got 10 games left, and we'll see what happens.
It can't be accepted. We're not going to carry on in playoffs if we play that way.
Where were the breakdowns defensively?
Well, the bottom line is that tonight's history, and we got to go into New York in a positive frame of mind, and we got to get ourselves ready and go in there and play hard and win.
And that's about all the time we have for. See you next week. This week's show has been brought to you by the Lansing Floral Shop.
Call for your flowers at 708-474-1212. Huck Finn, a great wide-ranging menu, along with donuts and ice cream. Open 24 hours at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Imprint Graphics, leaders in booklet, perfect bound saddle stitch. Very competitive pricing, 708-396-1010.